Want to speak real French from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at FrenchPod101.com.
Hey guys, it's Pierre from France. Welcome back for more videos on French learning. Today's video will be about genders in French. I know it's really annoying genders in that language, but it's something that you really need to master if you want to sound French and to speak real French. But we think that usually it's really random the way that a noun is feminine or masculine. But in fact, there are some rules that you can remember, and if you do that, you will be able to guess if a noun is feminine or masculine. But of course, experience is better than just learning rules. So just you need to, when you learn a new word, try to remember the gender. So let's get started with feminine ending. If you see one word ending with this one, yon, you are like 99% sure that it's a feminine word. And if it's with sion or sion, like same pronunciation but different letter, here it's with a T and here it's with an S, this you're sure with 100%. So here you've got this example, la construction, la construction. So I will always put an article here to show that it's feminine or masculine. So here it's feminine, la. You know, the equivalent, the masculine equivalent is le, but here it's la. La construction, like in English, construction. And here, like traduction or translation, traduction, la traduction. T-I-O-N, it means it's a feminine word. So just remember that. And some examples with sion, la télévision, television, again, it's a similar word in English. And here, la décision, decision. So as you can see, for those words, usually it's the same than in English, like almost the same. Here, there's the accent in French, and here as well, but it's the same ending. So if you see those two endings, it's feminine, and usually it's the English equivalent of the word is kind of similar because these endings exist in English as well. So this is for sion and sion. So same pronunciation even for French speakers. Here is another one, T. Like for example, la beauté, beauty, and la réalité, So as you can see in English, beauty, beauté, réalité, reality. T is the equivalent of T in English. So like when you see a word that is ending with a T, ty in English, there is a high probability that the translation would be with T, and if it's the case, the word is always feminine. Some other examples like clarity, clarté, la clarté, clarity, la clarté. So here it's a bit different, but you see T and T en français, in French. So here, those two endings are really important, but the next category is most of the words ending with E. E, you know, it's the feminine mark. Like when you have an adjective, you have to change the ending of the adjective depending of the noun, if it's a masculine noun or a feminine noun. And usually, and it's like always the case in fact, you add an E to prove that it's a feminine, you add an E at the end of the adjective because the noun is feminine. So E is the mark of the feminine form. But not all the words, all the nouns ending with E are feminine, but a lot, many of them. And for those endings, it's always the case. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have 6 different endings. The first one is et. Et, like when you say a word with et for French native speaker, it sounds feminine. Et is really feminine, with double T-E. For example, cigarette, la cigarette, cigarette, la cigarette. Same than in English. Here, feminine. Then here you have trumpet, la trompette, la trompette, la trompette. Again, feminine. You have E double T E, E double T E, feminine always. Here, you've got two similar ones, ans and ans. Like same pronunciation, but sometimes it's with an A, sometimes it's with an E. So here, you have la ressemblance, ressemblance. Similar to the English word, resemblance, except that in French you need to add two S. Here you have two S. In English you have only one. La ressemblance, la ressemblance. It ends with A-N-C-E, so definitely it's a feminine word. Same with this one, la chance, like chance or luck. C-H-A-N-C-E, A-N-C-E, feminine, always feminine. The next one is with E-N-C-E, so same pronunciation. As you can see here, la différence, similar to the English word, difference. La différence, here there is an accent, but in English it's the same except that. La différence, difference. So here you can see when I say ressemblance and différence, this is the same pronunciation. There is, even for native French speakers, there is no difference between those two sounds. So don't be afraid. This is quite normal for native French speakers not to distinguish that. The only way you can distinguish it is when you write it. And here is another example, l'intelligence. L'intelligence, like smartness or the fact of being clever, cleverness. L'intelligence. So here again, E-N-C-E. But for this one, there is one big exception. This is silence. Silence, like quietness. Le silence. Here, even though it's E-N-C-E, you need to use like le, which proves that it's masculine. So le silence, masculine word. Be careful with this one. Then there is another one which is U or E. U or E. Here is an example. La peinture, like painting. La peinture, la peinture. So here, U or E, so again, feminine. Another one is la culture, culture. Here, it's U or E, so definitely it's feminine. So this is for this one. Now let's move on to the next one. E-double-S-E. As this one, E-double-T-E, when you hear that as a native French speaker, it sounds really feminine. So almost all the words with E-double-S-E are feminine. Same for this one. There is like no big exception for this one. La sagesse, like wisdom. La sagesse, sagesse. It means that it's feminine because E-double-S-E. In French, the E-double-S-E ending is quite similar to the ness one in English, like cleverness. It's a way to make an adjective, to turn an adjective into a noun. So here you can say sage. Someone is sage, like wise. And if you add E-double-S-E, it becomes a noun. So here, la sagesse. Here is another example, la promesse, in English promise. La promesse. Here again, E-double-S-E, so definitely it's feminine. And the last one is I-N-E, like in la cuisine, kitchen, or cuisine. You can also say cuisine, because in French, cuisine means like the fact of cooking and the activity of cooking and also the room, the kitchen. So here, cuisine, I-N-E. And here, l'origine, the origin. So here, as you can see, and you can see that as well in intelligence, l'intelligence, there is a vowel. So with this, you cannot say if it's feminine or masculine if you just see the L like that, because there is a contraction. But this, if you use like un or une, you would say une origine, or here une intelligence. You have to be careful because here, when you say it, you need to know if it's masculine or feminine. But here, you know it's feminine because it's I-N-E, or here it's E-N-C-E. So be careful with that. So it was like 6 examples, like the 6 biggest categories of nouns that are always feminine and nouns that end with an E. Because as you can see, it's always ending with an E. So here, always feminine, except in this case, and maybe there are some more, but don't focus too much on that, because in 99% of the cases, it's always feminine. So this is the good ones, and sometimes there are also some masculine E ending, but we will see that later. But if you don't know if a word is feminine or masculine, but the word ends with a E, there is a high chance that this one is feminine. And if it's this one, it's definitely feminine. Let's move on to masculine endings. The first one is en. When you see a word that ends with en, the sound en, I know it's a difficult one for non-native French speakers, but this one is really important. En. Same pronunciation for the 4 words. So here, as you can see, there is an E and an A, but it's the same. And here you've got a silent T. You don't say it. So for those 4 endings, it's en. It's a bit similar to this. En. Like same pronunciation, even if it's an A or an E. So here, en. There is a high chance that if it ends with an en, it's masculine. And if it's with M-E-N-T, you're sure, like 99%, almost 100%, that it's masculine. So here is an example, le paiement, payment. Like it's the same than in English, meant. If a word, usually a word in English that ends with ment, you can translate it into a word in French that ends with ment. And if you do it, it's always masculine. Masculine. Le paiement. The payment. Le paiement. So here you're sure like 100% for this one. But for the other ones, you're almost sure, like I would say more than 90%. So here you've got some examples. A child, un enfant. Un enfant. So here I do the liaison. Un enfant. Or you can also say l'enfant. But here you don't, it's same than here. Like you don't see if it's masculine or feminine. So for these examples, those examples, I prefer to use un or une. So here you've got un. So, un enfant, A-N-T, it's masculine, A-N-T. Next one is a glove, un gant, un gant, un gant, A-N-T, glove, enfant, gant. Here, same ending, so not much to say. So here is another one. Un paysan, un chien. Paysan, A-N, un chien, I-N. Here you can see en, paysan, chien. But here the pronunciation is a bit different for chien. But here you've got a masculine word. But one thing you can do in French is sometimes for like words, especially for animals and people, because here un paysan it means like peasant, and chien means dog. So here it's an animal, and here it's a person, like a peasant. In those cases, in French, you can turn those words into a feminine one if you add usually a specific mark. And usually this specific mark is the feminine E. E is the mark of feminine noun. So here, if you add an E, you can do it. But with the AN and EN, when you do that, you need to double the N. So, une paysanne, une chienne. So here you double the N and you add an E. So here you've got the feminine ending and a masculine ending. So that's why in most cases NA and EN are masculine, because if you want the feminine equivalent, you need to add NE at the end. So this one, en, usually it's always masculine. Let's move on to the next one. Here it's un, the sound un. So here it's three different ways to write un, but it's the same un. Here it's silent T, and here it's the same un. I know it's quite hard. Maybe you don't hear the difference between en and un, but like it's really different for French speakers. Le pain, bread, le pain, le pain. It's a bit similar to chien here. Le pain, chien. Like E-E-N is a bit similar to A-I-N. So yeah, you've got this one. And here you've got another example. Le chemin, path. Here, I-N. And here another one, a funny one, le pingouin, which is not like penguin, but oak. It's almost the same. But here you've got one other words with I-N. But here you've got like a not common ending in French, O-U-I-N. But it's still I-N, so masculine. So here, masculine, 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 I-N, I-N, I-N. So here it's even A-I-N. So here, as you can see, it's masculine I-N, and here, with an E, it's feminine. So it's not the equivalent, like it's not like you cannot just add an E and make it and turn it into a feminine word, but you can notice that with an E, it's feminine, and without, it's masculine. So yeah, it's really important to remember that usually IN, the sound is masculine. So you've got those two examples. Let's move on to the next one. Here, you've got different ways to say the sound O. O. This is almost 99%, almost 100% sure that the words that ends with one of these will be masculine. So here it's the same pronunciation, O, 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 O. Like you've got many different ways to write it in French. But here it's a silent T, silent S, silent T, silent D. And here AU, it's O in French, and EAU is all, it's also O. So here, le crapaud, like a toad. Toad in English, le crapaud, crapaud. Here AUD, so this one, it's masculine. Here is another one, snail, un escargot. Un escargot. Escargot. So here, OT. Same pronunciation, O, un escargot. Another one is le saut, like a jump, the jump. AUT, you don't say the T, so it's masculine, le saut. Un oiseau, like a bird. Here, EAU, EAU, so it's masculine. But there is one big exception, which is in fact not really an exception. This is l'eau. So here you cannot see if it's masculine or feminine, so you would say une eau. Here you can see that it's EAU, but in fact, the whole word is EAU. It's not an ending, because here it's like grammatically speaking, this is an ending. But here, the whole word is EAU. So, it's not an ending. So be careful with this one. But we don't say a lot une eau. But it's important to know that EAU is feminine when you use an adjective. Like une eau claire, like clear water. Here, it's important for the E. So but here I used une. But if you want to use l'eau claire, here, you need to know for the E here. So let's move on to the next one, which is on, the sound on. With on is probably one of the most difficult sounds for French learners. So here, like it's silent T and silent D, and here like OM and ON, it's same pronunciation in French. So here, le ballon, like the ball, le ballon, masculine. Le dragon, same than in English, same. Le pont, like a bridge, O-N-T, T is silent, le pont. Here you've got le prénom, like first name, but it's the case for like nickname, le surnom, or le nom, name. You've got OM here. M is like if it was an N. So here, masculine. And another one, an example with OND is le bon, like leap. It's a leap. So here, silent D, masculine. The next one is ou. Again, X silent, T silent, so it's same pronunciation for all those endings. This one, it's not 100% sure, but it's almost. Like those ones are really common. This one maybe a bit less, same than this one, same for this one, but it's in a lot of cases, it's masculine. So here you've got an example, le pou, like louse in the head, on the head, le pou, O-U-X, O-U-X, like pronunciation ou, so it's not, it's masculine. Le ragout, like stew, the stew, O-U-T, O-U-T. Here, le caillou, pebble, le caillou. Always pronunciation ou, so masculine for all those cases. And be careful with this one, la roue. La roue, it's like a feminine word, but here it's not one of the three endings that is written. Here it's with an E, O-U-E. So that's why it's not 100%. It's because like all the way you can write ou in French, only 3 of them are like almost always masculine. There is one ending that is feminine. It's when it's with an E. So again, as I told you, most of the words ending with E are feminine. And this is an example. The next one is al, like le cheval, horse, or animal, animal, un animal, l'animal, un animal, or hospital, un hôpital. Same, you see that a lot of words in English ends with al, and usually it's often the case that in French it's also with al. So in those cases it's masculine. So al, masculine. In many cases. It's not always the case, but in most cases. So this is all for the masculine endings, like the common ones. But there is also masculine endings which are E sometimes. I told you most of the words ending with E are feminine, but it's not always the case. So here you've got, like it's 100% sure that it's feminine, except for this one, le silence. But it's like almost always feminine. But there are some words that are always masculine. And then for the remaining ones, there is a high chance that it's feminine, but sometimes it's also masculine. So be careful. But usually, if you just remember those 4 endings. Without remembering those ones, you can guess that the word is feminine. If it's not one of these, it's probably feminine. But if you want really to be accurate, you should also learn those ones. That sounds feminine. And it's always feminine when you hear that. So here are the 4 ones that are always masculine. This one is really common. Isme. It's like in English, ism. Like le réalisme, realism. Like humanism, l'humanisme. Like feminism, le féminisme. Here, always, le féminisme, le réalisme, realism. So ISME, always masculine. Here is another one, like âge. Like you can say l'âge, for example, the age, but it's not a terminism here. Like it's same than au, because the full word is âge. Here, in mariage, like wedding or also marriage, because in French it's the same word. You've got the age as an ending. So here, it's masculine. All the word with age are masculine in French. And here are 2 other ones, like scope in English, so scope in French, scope. Like telescope in English, le télescope, like really similar. Le télescope, le téléphone in French, le téléphone. In English, like telephone. So here you can see like it's the same beginning of the word, like télé. And here you've got different ending, and those 2 endings are masculine. So all words with scope and like scope in French, scope in English, or phone in English, and fun in French, fun, scope, fun. Like it's not really a O, it's like fun, a bit different. Maybe you cannot catch it, but it doesn't really matter. Le téléphone, le télescope. So that's all for the masculine E endings. Like it's, in those cases, it's always masculine, so be careful with that. So let's sum that up. Feminine endings and masculine endings. For feminine endings, there is ION and TE. It's like almost feminine, in all cases feminine, like almost 100% sure that it will be feminine. So those 2 only. I will talk about that later. For masculine endings, you've got this one, en, o. Those 2 are like almost 100%, like 99%. For ment, it's 100%. So for those 2, it's almost always masculine. For those 2 as well, un and on, it's almost always masculine. Here, when you hear ou, it's always masculine, except if there is OUE, which means like it's feminine. By the way, I didn't translate this word. Roue is like the wheel. So this case, and also a last one, al, often masculine when you see AL. And concerning the E endings, if you don't know, there is a high chance that it's feminine. If it's one of those, this is masculine. But in other cases, it's almost always feminine, as you can see here. But sometimes it's not the case. But for those ones, it's 100% sure that it's the case. So I hope with those endings, if you can remember that, like you don't need to learn that by heart, but if you can do it, like remember some of them, you will be able to guess the gender. And this is really helpful when you learn French. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, you can click on the like button and you can leave a comment on the section down below. And if you haven't subscribed yet, you can subscribe to our channel. We have a lot of contents. And if you want to learn more French, you can visit our website, FrenchPod101.com. We have a lot of resources and you can improve your French. So I hope you really enjoyed that and see you next time. It was Pierre. Bye.